And I think being a director, you have to have simultaneously a huge ego and no ego. So the huge ego is the audacity to say that what delights me and tickles me will delight other people. And if I lose touch with that delight, then I am lost. And if I'm making decisions for the wrong reasons, which is second guessing what either a producer or even a playwright or an audience is going to think, I've lost my way.
God forbid.
You are transported to both past and future. Past in terms of like juice, in terms of life, in terms of energy, and future in terms of optimism. And so in some ways, and I also feel that in terms of directing, as much as I study and try to be a better director all the time and look at things and read and compare and think, somehow at times I think my directing hasn't changed at all from when I was 15 and did my first production, which was The Bald Soprano. And that the same sense of space and time exists inherently, so I don't actually ever get any better or worse. It's the same always, oddly enough. We shiver at the word concept. There's a way of approaching a play that if you decide what it is before you do it, then you have made the play smaller than you. And you actually want the play to be bigger than anything you can imagine. I'm sure we agree on that. And the minute you say, it happens inside of this parameter, you know, it's reducing so that the audience is guessing, doing a guessing game rather than encountering a play in its largesse. And you should approach a play, I think, as a canvas that's much bigger than you, not something that you can control. Right? Also, I think that every time I approach a play, there has to be something that, and I won't do the play unless this happens. It's an alchemical something that happens in me that makes me have a hunch or maybe a leap, something that I'm even afraid to say to the actors or designers because I think it's really dumb. But an idea that maybe it might be X, that everybody looks at me like I'm a little crazy, and then it turns out that without the leap, and it's true in any creative work, that without some sort of leap, nothing happens. An actor knows that every scene they do needs some kind of leap involved or else nothing is engendered. But there has to be some hunch that then can be proven wrong. But you put something out, and my job is to start a snowball in motion so that other people can add to it or put obstacles in front of it or challenge it or change it. Ultimately, ideas, which a lot of people glom onto, are cheap. You know, you can find ideas every time you open a magazine. There's 150 ideas about anything. So you choose a few, but then the terminology I like to use in rehearsal is, what is it really? In other words, I'll say, this is what it is, but then if you don't say then, but what is it really? Then there's no there, as Gertrude Stein said about Oakland, California. There's nothing that actually is engendered. So you certainly have to propose ideas, a world, even a concept, but that's cheap. That's not what you're in the room for. So if it becomes about fulfilling that idea, then that's really not interesting. But as a launching pad, I think you do need something to communicate.
Base.
I spend a great deal of time first just in the pressure cooker of my own imagination and digressions. You know, sleeping sometimes or napping while I'm researching something will lead in directions. And if I haven't done that work, I haven't earned the right to walk in the room. I can't just walk into a room and say, let's collaborate.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, my work is exceedingly collaborative, and I use everybody in the room, and I am interested in all their opinions all the time. But to create an atmosphere in a room where everybody feels heard means you have to listen. And when you say, what do? You set up an environment where actually people feel heard. And that's something you can't actually fake, real listening. And I think that is I think if there's two parts of the recipe for collaboration, one is to listen and the other is to respect. Seriously respect the people who are in the room with you. Not pretend to, but find a way that you actually respect them.